Up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. We're not going to do an introduction just yet. In today's video, we are getting some manifestation mindset shifts that will make your life and manifestation process much easier. In today's video, we are focusing on how to collapse time. We're going to bust a couple myths. I'm going to give you a couple shifts that are going to help you to collapse time. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips that are going to help you in your time collapsing process, things that you want to do and focus on to make your capacity to collapse time and get the things that you want quickly and easily and instantly much easier. Okay? You're getting tips on how to make the process even easier. All right, let's jump right in with the introduction. So, my name is Natalie Hughes. My nickname is Nath Hughes. I'm a life manifestation and mindset coach. I make digital courses, meditations, and coaching programs for self-led women who want to leave behind disappointment, stagnation, powerlessness, fear, shame, and guilt in favor of self-love, trust, confidence, worth, and esteem. Self-esteem? Do you just say esteem? It doesn't matter. On my platform, my focus is to help you deliberately co-create an emotionally fulfilling life. I'm here to help you manifest an emotionally fulfilling life. I want you to have a life that looks beautiful with the clothes and the cars and the homes and the husband and the babies, but I want you to be emotionally balanced and fulfilled. I want your life to be rich. I want you to be present in your body. I want your nervous system to be regulated. I want you to feel safe and secure, and I want you to really be able to soak up all of the amazing things that life has to offer. If you're in my world, that means you're ready for rapid growth, healing, and empowerment. You're ready to feel supported, settled, safe, secure, and empowered in every aspect of life. So let's get into it. Myth. This is the myth that we're debunking. It takes 21 days to form a new belief. Now, technically, that's not exactly a myth, but the way that we can take these facts and use them to tell the story that we can't get what we want right here and right now is a myth. So let me say this in a different way. The myth is the idea that you can't get what you want right here and right now. The myth is the idea that you just started affirming for a new husband and you can't get married tomorrow, right? It's a myth. I'm not saying you affirm for a husband and you actually want to get married tomorrow. Maybe you fucking do. I don't know what you're manifesting and I'm not going to judge you. What I'm saying is that whatever you want, you can have it today. You can have it right here and right now. You can experience the physical manifestation of it right here and right now. And that might push up against some beliefs that you have. And we'll get further into that in a little bit. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and my experience as I was learning about manifestation. So in manifestation, when you're first learning, what do they say? They say that your subconscious mind creates your reality. Your subconscious beliefs create your reality. And if your subconscious mind and your subconscious beliefs are creating your reality, and it takes 21 days to form a new belief, well, you think you're putting two and two together. It must take me 21 days to create a new belief and then to see changes in my reality. And that's the lie. That's the myth. The myth is that if I start showing up and changing the way that I think and my energy, it has to be a long time before I can see my desired result, my experience. And girl, let me tell you, I struggled with this. Because, ooh, bitch, can we go there for a second? Can I give you a 2.5? It's really good. And we don't have a lot of, it's not that we're on the time crunch today. What I mean is that there's only like 2 other slides of information after this. So like, this is a quick, easy video. We have time for a 2.5 and it's really fucking good, okay? So years ago, maybe like 2019, maybe like 2020. No, I think it was 2020. So I'm like maybe a year and like 2 months into this business, right? It's the summer of 2020. Now, at that time, I was working with this woman who is a coach, mindset coach, life coach, cool beans. So I had gone out to Chattanooga, Tennessee for a money workshop that she hosted. On my way back home from the workshop, maybe a couple months later, after I came home from the workshop, whatever, I don't know why, but we were on the phone with each other, or okay, I'm not really remembering the timeline, but I know that it was like after the workshop, but like not like 5 years after. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so we're on the phone, we're having a conversation. I'm super excited, I'm super pumped up. Yes, making money gets to be easier. I get to receive, whoop de whoop de whoop. And we're sitting on a conversation, and I said something about like, oh yes, like so soon we're going to be having this experience, maybe something about private jets, maybe, I'm pretty sure it was something like that. It was one of those things where you say something like, oh yeah, like so soon we're going to have so much money and like all this different stuff, right? So when I had said this thing about we're going to be receiving all this wealth and abundance like so soon and blah, 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 she responded to me saying that. And she was just like, well, oh, damn it, I don't remember exactly what she said, quote unquote. But long story short, girls, she just basically was just like, well, kind of like a hold your horses type of energy and vibe. And this is one of the worst things that you could ever say to somebody like me, because astrologically speaking, I have Jupiter, which is your planet of growth and expansion and also like spirituality and like all that good shit, in Aries. So Jupiter in Aries is an energy that grows and expands exponentially, quickly, and easily. I also have an Aries stellium. So I'm somebody who can grow and expand really, really quickly and really, really easily. I catch on to things quickly. I understand things quickly. My mind works quickly. I can go from one thing to the next very quickly and very easily. I understand this concept. Let's move on to something else. Let's make it more complex. Let's make it more deeper, all this good stuff, right? So, me being somebody who is just made, wired for rapid growth and expansion, you don't have to have Jupiter in Aries to have this. That's just one way that it manifests for me in my life and in my natal chart. So, me being somebody who's wired for this rapid growth and expansion, coming up against somebody who she's a Capricorn. And I have a Capricorn moon. And she, obviously represented things that were alive within me at the time. We don't have to get too deep into it. But Aries is fiery, it's passionate, it's quick moving, it's a fire sign, it starts the zodiac, it's cardinal. Capricorn is also cardinal, it starts, but Capricorn wants to start things long lasting. Capricorn cares about legacy. Capricorn is more like slow, consistent action that bides results over time. Aries energy is like, Aries energy is like selling something. You want to make a quick buck, you're going to sell this thing and you're going to get the money immediately. Capricorn is like money that you invest in the stock market, where basically you just let it sit there for all of fucking eternity. And then one day, 6 million years from now, your money has grown and expanded and oh my God, you're rich, right? So it's like, they're both signs and energies that focus on growth and expansion and making money and all these different things. They have a different approach and a different way of doing things. This is one of the reasons why you have to be particular about the people that you listen to and the people that you work with. And you have to make sure that they kind of have the same values that you do and the same desires or ways of operating that you do. Because I'm a girly who likes rapid growth and expansion. Obviously, I have a Capricorn moon. Obviously, we'll do the stock marketing, investing stuff, but right here, right now, I need to grow and expand, and I need some fast cash immediately without delay. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. If you're in my world, you're listening to this, you're this far into this video, you know exactly what the fuck I'm saying. Okay, so having that conversation with her when she basically was just like, whoa, like slow your roll, it won't be that quick or whatever. I was like, well, like I was joking. And then this bitch is gonna say to me, well, you were joking, but you weren't. And I'm like, what was your objective in this conversation? But we're not gonna get too deep into it. What I will say is that I created like a complex for me. You know what I mean? At that moment in time. because I have this energy that's just kind of like this, like fresh, young, vivacious. I'm going, I'm expanding, I'm growing, I'm doing the thing, I'm on a roll, I'm moving, the energy is moving and growing and expanding, and I've got this, and things are happening. And then somebody else is coming in and saying, you can't have what you want right here and right now. It has to take more time. That is the worst thing that you could ever say to anybody ever in life, but it's also one of the worst things that you could ever say to somebody like me, who has a lot of Aries energy, somebody who has Sagittarius energy, maybe even somebody who has Leo energy, maybe even air sign energies. Like, they don't have to be these specific placements or signs, but it's fast moving energy for a reason. There are some people who were made for rapid growth and expansion. I'm one of those people. If you're in my world, then you are also one of those people. And this idea, allowing other people to introduce the idea to you that you can't have what you want right here and right now because it's not practical, because it's not realistic, because that's not how the world works. It is the worst thing in the fucking world. If you have people like that in your life, cut them off. I'm just kidding. You can set your boundaries however you set your boundaries, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, energetically, you need to be setting those boundaries, because that's not how life has to work for you, especially not you, because you're watching this video and you want to know how to collapse time. So the biggest myth that you got to bust in your mind right here and right now is the idea that you have to wait before you can get what you want. And the crazy thing about it is that I ended up waiting, pushing money away from me, because I really kind of like used that as an excuse, which is not 110% that woman's fault. It was my choice subconsciously, you know what I mean? To dim my light and to play it small and to kind of go within myself because I had felt shut down in that way. I pushed away and I repelled money and abundance and all of these things that are incredibly fucking easy for me to make and accumulate because it's who I am and it's what I do. Hello. And the reason why I did that was because somebody else told me what I could and couldn't have. And then at some point, I literally started going like, well, what's the marker? What's the thing that I have to do before I allow myself to get the money? Is it be in business for a year? Be in business for 5 years? Is it get all these people on my email list? Is it sell all of these things at this lower ticket item? Is it do a mastermind? Is it this and this and this? Like, what's the standard here? And the truth is that there is no fucking standard. Everybody has different rules that they live by. There are people in the world who are like, I won't allow myself to make more money until I've been at this job for 2 years. And then after I've been at this job for 2 years, then I'll allow myself to make more money. And then after I've been at this next job for 2 years, then I'll allow myself to make money. And then after I've been at that job for 2 years, then I'll allow myself to make more money. There's not actually a rule that says you have to work at places for 2 years at a time before you can make more money. But because there's that rule that maybe people in your industry are saying, or because there's that rule, you're telling yourself that for whatever reason, then that's the rule that you live by. And that's the paradigm that you live in. And deliberate co-creation of your reality is really the experience where you are choosing the rules that you live by. So if you want to collapse time, you got to choose and you've got to decide that the rule that you live by is, I get to have what I want right here and right now. My reality shifts quickly and easily. My reality shifts rapidly. There's a million different ways to say it, but that's along the lines of what you want to say. You feel me? So the lie that you can't change your reality right here and right now, the lie that you can't see results right here and right now because your beliefs, your subconscious beliefs are projecting things onto your reality. And that projection won't change until you've been changing what you're inputting into the projector, aka what you're feeding into your subconscious for 21 days. It's just too much. It's not true. So, okay, here's what I'm going to say. And here's how we're going to break it down. Yes, okay, hold on. I didn't think about how exactly, I just got really excited and then I kind of put some stuff into a PowerPoint and I didn't type everything out how I usually do. So you're going to have to give me a second to put all of this together. Your subconscious is creating your reality, but that one phrase means 1,000,001 different things. Okay, on one hand, your subconscious mind is creating your reality in the way of like, when your nervous system is activated, when you feel unsafe, and it's not just because somebody is threatening your life. When you feel anxiety, your nervous system is activated, you feel unsafe. When you're doing a new thing, when you're stepping into a new reality for the first time, having a new experience for the first time, your nervous system is activated. This is new. Your brain is quite literally wired to keep you in the familiar, because your brain is wired to keep you in the safe and secure. So when you're going to have a new reality, whether it's starting a new job, starting a new grade in school, you know what I mean, doing a new thing, going on a first date, different stuff like that, it can be a normal experience for your nervous system to get activated. So for those of us who experienced trauma in our childhood experience, if you got a little bit of that complex PTSD, as many of us do, when you have had experiences in your childhood where you did not feel safe and secure, loved, protected, taken care of, when there was not consistency and boundaries and just safety and security, your nervous system is activated still. Usually when you get excited and your nervous system gets triggered, it's like, whoa, let's send like a rush of like fucking cortisol, which is a stress hormone. We got to do some stuff, fight, flight, fawn, freeze. You know what I'm saying? We got to do some stuff to get ourselves safe. And then when you get to the feeling of safety and security, then your brain is like, okay, we're safe and secure. Everybody, let's tone down. Now let's start moving and operating in our normal way. But when you experience traumatic situations and there's not that processing moment, when you experience traumatic experiences and your childhood experience is one where there's constant trauma, and it's not just necessarily physical trauma against you, you had an experience where you were always, in an environment, it's 4:44 as I'm recording this, you're in an environment where your parents are always fighting and arguing, period. That could trigger your nervous system. I feel unsafe and insecure. If you're somebody like me, you were raised with a single mom who always took care of everything and complained about bills all of the time. Everything that I do is for everyone else. Nothing I do is for me. I have to do something for me. I grew up really worried about money, really scared about money. My mom is the only one that's supporting us, and supporting us is obviously really, really hard because of how she talks about it and how she complains about it. And will we be okay? And there's one negative thing after another happening in the family. If it's not drama at her job, it's drama within our family experience. It's drama with my father. Constant stimulus, constant nervous system activation. So as a consequence of those experiences, that is impacting how you perceive the world. And I did not anticipate getting into this, but we have to get into this because you really have to understand how nuanced all of this is. And I think for me, especially when I was just getting into manifestation, I didn't understand how nuanced this shit was. And when you don't understand how nuanced it is and what these things really mean, you can think, oh, I have to wait 21 days until I can see a result. And that's not the truth. So you got to follow me on this because we're busting this whole myth right now. So ages like 0 to 8 years old, we'll say, that is when your subconscious mind is bust wide open. The things that you're experiencing moment to moment, day to day, you're picking up information, you're learning how the world works, you're learning what the world is like, you're learning what to expect from the world. It's the things that are happening in your home environment, it's the things that are happening in your, local home environment, in your local area and neighborhood, and it's the things that are happening at your school. From ages 0 to 8 years old, you're learning who you are in the world. You're learning how to expect the world to treat you based on how people are treating you in those years. You're learning, okay, this is how I'm treated. This is how people behave. This is what I can expect from the world. So those are subconscious beliefs that are created. And that, what I just said about subconscious beliefs being created, is kind of sort of connected to nervous system activation, but not necessarily, because you can experience a traumatic situation at 10, 11, and 12 that powerfully impact how you perceive the world. And it doesn't have anything to do with ages 0 to 8 and different stuff like that. You know what I mean? So again, it's nuanced. The point isn't to sit and Well, I mean, of course, you can take notes on this stuff, but the point isn't to have a calendar and to look back over all of these years. The point is to understand that your perception of the world today is a consequence of the accumulation of all of the experiences that you have ever had up until now. And if you're somebody who has experienced feelings of disappointment, powerlessness, fear, shame, and guilt, the accumulation of those experiences are impacting the way that you perceive the world, the way that you see yourself, the opportunities that you believe are available to you, and how you expect to be treated by other people. Going back to our example, talking about your nervous system being activated. If you're somebody like, I'll just use an example with the brain, right? So your brain has a center, and that center in your brain is in charge of detecting danger. That center of your brain, just keeping an eye out for Selena. You know what I'm saying? When you feel safe and secure and you're rested, it's not like you're completely unaware, but you're rested, you're safe, you're secure. Your body's doing the whole rest and digest thing, right? You're chilling. But when you're on alert, when your nervous system is activated, when there's something going on and you feel unsafe, well, now you're on alert, right? Now you're looking around. Now you're a little bit suspicious. From that place where you feel on alert and you feel like everything is a little bit suspicious, the random man standing on the corner on your street doesn't just look like a random man standing on the corner on the street, does he? He looks a little suspicious. He looks a little weird. He looks a little off. What is he doing there? Is he a safe person? Is he going to attack me? Am I being human trafficked? Your nervous system is activated, and that impacts how you perceive this man. Now, if the man was standing there next to a van and he had a big ass bag, I don't know. I don't know what a suspicious man would look like. If he was standing there on the corner and he had a gun and it was pointed at you, that would be a little suspicious. Just a little, that would be kind of suspicious. I would be like, oh, I'd be like, this doesn't seem right. But just a random man, if he's out, he got a dog, dog on a leash. That man's not looking super duper suspicious. You know what I'm saying? So when your brain is on alert, because when you experience those moments of high intensity, feelings of unsafety, insecurity, and you didn't have those moments of letdown, those moments of relief, those moments of I'm safe and I'm secure now and I can come back into my body and we can rest and we can relax, when that's happening at a constant or consistently in your life, that can impact the way that you perceive everything. So you can have an experience where you're perceiving danger when there's no danger there. And if you're perceiving danger, how you're going to respond, like if your nervous system is activated. When your nervous system is activated, the parts of your brain that are in charge of decision making, creative problem solving, those parts of your brain are kind of going offline. Because we don't need creative problem solving. We don't need all of that. We need to get the fuck ASAP. We're in danger. You know what I'm saying? When your nervous system is activated, your capacity to creatively think and problem solve, your capacity to sit and go, hey, it's just a man with a dog, we're safe and secure, your capacity to have those thoughts is dwindled. because you feel unsafe and you're constantly in that state of, I'm ready to get the fuck ASAP. And I'm not saying that all of you are having this experience. We're having a conversation about how your subconscious beliefs creating your reality can mean 1,000,001 different things. So tying this all together and coming back to the main point now, when we say your subconscious beliefs create your reality, if you're walking through life with unprocessed trauma and emotions kind of in that triggered state, your perception of reality is impacted. You don't have the capacity to say, that's just a man with a dog. You're thinking, oh my God, am I in danger? Am I safe? Am I okay? You are being impacted. Your perception of reality is being impacted. Your capacity to analyze situations to determine whether or not you're safe and secure is being impacted. So that's one way that you're subconscious, because you're not doing this consciously. You're not consciously going, hello, reptilian brain, I need you to turn on, baby girl. You're not consciously thinking, you're not deliberately thinking, hey, I need that heart rate to increase immediately. And I need you to start pumping a little bit more blood. I need a little bit more blood pumping to my muscles right here and right now, because I might need to run the fuck away. You're not consciously and deliberately doing that, right? That's an unconscious thing that's happening. That's your body's natural fucking mechanism, which is a great thing. Super wonderful. Has helped us as the human species to survive thus far. Very good. Nice. I like it. I don't hate it. Nothing wrong with it. However, living in this world, Rocco's modern life, you know what I mean? The way that we respond to everyday experiences like a friend backstabbing us and betraying us, emotional wounding and pain can trigger a nervous system response. But we really can't get the fuck ASAP because somebody talked shit about us behind our back. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we learn how to regulate our nervous system. We learn how to process the pain. We learn how to bring those different parts of our brain back online. We learn how to allow our perception of reality to open up so that we can have a better feeling experience in life, feel safe again, develop new relationships, yada, yada, yada. So boom, there's one thing. And then you have that other subconscious beliefs that are creating your reality where, let's say, going back to that childhood experience, 0 to 8, every single time you asked your mom, can I have ice cream from the ice cream truck? Your mom goes, no, we can't afford ice cream from the ice cream truck. I work all night and I work all day and I pay the bills I have to pay. Ain't it sad? And still there never seems to be a single penny left for me. That's too bad. In my dreams, I have a plan. If I got me a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work at all. Those are lyrics from Mamma Mia. I'm sorry. I'm a silly girl and I have to make my jokes. The point is, if every single time you asked your mom for money to go get ice cream from the ice cream truck and your mama says, no, you can't get money for ice cream. You can't get ice cream. You can't get ice cream. You can't get ice cream. We can't get McDonald's. You have McDonald's money? No, we have food at home. We have food at home. Yada, 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 right? If this is happening every time that you go to get ice cream, what happens is you start telling yourself the story, what? I never get ice cream. I can never get the ice cream that I want. I can never get the ice cream that I want. I can never get the ice cream that I want. And then it doesn't become reserved exclusively to ice cream. And, these things manifest in different ways. This is just one example, one manifestation or one potential consequence. I never get the ice cream that I want. I never get the McDonald's that I want. I never get the things that I enjoy. Do you see how it turns from I don't get the food that I want to I don't get the things that I enjoy? I don't get the things that I desire. I don't get to have pleasure in my life. And then you tell this story again and again and again. It becomes a belief, a subconscious belief. It's something that you're telling yourself without deliberately telling yourself. Now, we get further into this inside of my different courses and programs, but you're not consciously every single day telling yourself the story. You're not deliberately telling yourself the story, I can never get the things that bring me pleasure. You start telling these stories subconsciously. So by the time that you have your first job and you're making enough money for rent and you really want to go on a vacation, but you can't afford that vacation, is it even going to occur to you to ask your boss for a raise? Probably not. Or maybe if somebody does tell you you should ask your boss for a raise, what are you going to respond? Oh no, my boss is going to say no. Oh no, they're probably not available for that. Oh no, I know somebody who worked at this job and they asked the boss for a raise and then the boss said no and then they got fired and boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? So the point is that when we say that your subconscious is creating your reality, we're saying 1,000,001 different things. We're also saying that the thoughts that you think over and over and over and over again create the energy that you live in. They impact the energy that you live in. And the dominant energy that you live in is your dominant point of attraction. You attract things that are in alignment with the dominant energy that you live in. And so what that means is that if you live in the energy, the stories that you're telling yourself, your thoughts impact your emotions. Your emotions are your vibration, and your vibration attracts the same vibration, okay? That's the basic breakdown. So you have the thought that I can never get pleasure creates the emotion that I'm disappointed. From that energy of disappointment, you attract other experiences that make you feel disappointed. Are you following me? And it's all because of that belief that you've been telling yourself for the past 27 years that you can never get the things that you want in life, that you're always disappointed. So, okay, hold on. I'm thinking, should I put a pin in it? Because then I'm going to do something else. Okay. Yes, that's enough explaining for now, and then we'll bring it full circle in a second. So, what we're saying is this. All of that doesn't mean that you have 29 million years of resistance built up and it has to take 29 million years to create new beliefs. That's the myth. We're not saying that because you've been telling these stories for so long that it's going to take an equal amount of effort, time, energy, and focus to create new stories. That's not what we're saying. We're saying the longer that you tell a story, the more momentum gets built up. If you tell a story for long enough, it will become a belief. And when things become a belief, it's just easier to think those thoughts. You start thinking them subconsciously. They get stored in your subconscious. It no longer takes effort to think that belief. So let me say that in a different way. The phrases that got me really caught up years ago were, it takes 14 days to form a new habit and 21 days to form a new belief. So that makes me feel like I have to do 14 days of this, 14 days of affirmations, 14 days of showing up for myself. And if I show up for 11 days, but I don't show up for one day, then I have to start all over and I have to do 14 days again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, we don't have to overthink it. We don't have to go crazy. We don't have to do too much. You're not learning these things and forcing yourself to conform. And you're not learning these statistics, maybe? Was that what we would call them? You're not learning these facts or statistics and then creating a standard for yourself that you have to meet or else. It's not that you can't have a new experience unless you have told the story for 21 days and formed a new belief. What these are talking about, the 14 days or the 21 days, the new habits and the new beliefs, if you water them down, what they're telling you is that the longer you do this, the more consistently you show up, the easier it will become. Washing your hands after you go to the bathroom is a habit and technically like a subconscious belief. Because after you go to the bathroom, you're probably not consciously, deliberately thinking, I have to wash my hands now. You just go to the bathroom and then you're like, I'm going to wash my hands now. But it's something that you do, right? It's a habit because you've done it for so long. You don't think about it. It's not something that you're doing consciously. So when you start thinking the thought and feeling the energy and feeling the vibe that people love to pay you, people love to work with you, people love to connect with you, the first day that you tell that story, it might feel like a lie. It might feel like bullshit. The second day that you tell that story, it might feel like a lie and it might feel like bullshit. The third day that you tell that story, it might feel like a lie and it might feel like bullshit. And the fourth day and the fifth day and the sixth day and the seventh day and the eighth day and the ninth day and blah, 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 blah. But as you keep telling that story every single day, maybe by the time that you get to the 14th day, which for me, this happens much easier, but it doesn't matter. That's the point, is that it doesn't fucking matter. Just going off of this, by the time that you get to the 14th day, regardless of whether or not it kind of feels a little bit like a lie and it feels a little bit like bullshit, by the time that you get to that 14th day, you notice yourself starting to tell the story that people love to pay you. Money comes to you easily, whatever the fuck it is that I said at the beginning of this example, because I forgot. The longer you tell the story, well, now you're developing a habit of telling a new story. Now you're developing a habit of interrupting negative thoughts. And the more that I develop this habit of interrupting my negative thoughts, the easier it is for me to continue interrupting my negative thoughts, because now I don't have to think, oh my God, that was a resisting thought, I have to shift it. Instead, I think a resistant thought and then I shift it. That's a really good habit to develop. 21 days to form a new belief. By the time that you're telling the new story for 21 days, on the 21st day, it doesn't really sound like bullshit that people love to pay me. It doesn't really sound like a complete lie that money comes to me easily. I'm not, I'm not hard to convince that money loves to come to me, because I've been telling the story for 21 days. I'm a little bit more comfortable in the story now. You understanding what I'm saying? So the myth that we've just busted says you have to put time, energy, and effort before you can see the result. That's not true. What all of this really means is that the more that you show up, the longer amount of time that you dedicate to your mindset practice, you show up consistently, you show up for yourself in your mindset practice, over time, it becomes subconscious. You start doing the mindset work on your own. You start thinking the new beliefs on your own. And from that place, it gets even easier to keep thinking those better feeling thoughts. It gets even easier to live in a better feeling vibration. And by the time that it's a subconscious thought, by the time that it's something that you're doing, it's your natural, normal way of being, like washing your hands after you go to the restroom, well, then that's a story that gets to keep going for all of eternity until you decide to change it. You understand what I'm saying? So none of these things mean that you can't get what you want right here and right now. All it means is that the longer you do this work, the easier it's going to get. Okay? So boom, that was really important. Now let's move on to collapsing time. We want to collapse time. That means we want to go from one experience to the next. We want what we want right here and right now. It is manifested quickly and easily. Couple rules to collapsing time is number one, your capacity to persist. And then we go deeper into it in number two, which is being so good at shifting your energy and being in absolute denial about anything that doesn't align with your vision. That's how you collapse time. Oh, it's easy. Everything else around it gets a little bit more nuanced. And that's the reason why the more that people have practiced manifestation, the more that people have practiced getting what they want, the easier it is for them to experience the whole collapsing time, because they've already developed a couple of the other skills that I'm going to talk about in our next slide. So, example. People love to pay me and I get sales every single day. People love to pay me and I get sales every single day. Hold on. Everybody might not be an entrepreneur. Let me think of a different thing. Money finds a way to come to me every single day. That's good. Money finds a way to come to me every single day. You look at your bank account and it says negative $500 million billion. Are you still able to have the energy? Money loves to come to me every single day. I have $500 million billion in my bank account. I'm so grateful. Regardless of anything that happens in your experience, are you willing to be so good at shifting your energy? And shifting your energy is a process. Releasing old beliefs and old thoughts is a process. Regulating your nervous system is a process. Processing all of those traumas and stuff like that is a process. We'll get into that more. That's why people who are so good at shifting energy are able to collapse time really quickly and really easily. That's why it gets easier and easier over time, because the more that you do this, yes, those subconscious beliefs are going to help you. But the more that you do this, the better you get at shifting your energy, the better you get at releasing those limiting beliefs. So when you can look at something being unwanted and you can go, oh no, I know that this isn't my experience. I know that this isn't my reality. What I want is mine. Not what I want is mine in the future, at some point, someday, maybe, possibly. What I want is mine right here and right now. No, that's not true. I have 100 million, billion, trillion, gazillion. I don't know what number comes after trillion, I'm gonna be honest. I have all of this money in the bank. That's not true. Negative million in the bank. That's not true. That's weird. That's weird. I'm gonna call my bank and tell them they need to fix that. That's not accurate. Because I actually have 100 million, billion, trillion dollars in the fucking bank right here and right now. I know that for a fact. So that's weird. That's weird that the screen would say that. Okay? This is what the girls talk about, being delulu, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that. And the reason why I don't like that is because of the connotation that being delusional has with shame. Delusional is not a happy thing. Oh my God, you're so delusional. Yay. It's not a good thing. It's a negative thing. And so if you have a negative association and you're saying, oh, I'm so delusional, and you're laughing, you're making a joke out of it, at the same exact time that you're calling yourself delusional, you're activating the vibration that it's not safe to believe in manifestation. You're activating the belief that this shit isn't real and that it doesn't really work. So although being delulu, LOL, you might be able to get a couple things. Oh, it's because I was delulu. It's because I was blah, blah, blah. At some point, you're going to have to shift that. You're going to get hit up against that belief that, oh, this isn't real. I can't actually get the thing that I want. So I would not even put in the energy and effort to put being delusional inside of my subconscious mind. I wouldn't focus on that. So, okay, you want to collapse time? You persist. You persist in the end result. You know that it's yours. and everything else in your reality is complete and utter bullshit. That bank account balance is really fucking weird. That's not the truth. My Facebook status says single. That's really fucking weird. That's actually not true. That's actually the opposite of truth. I'm married. Where are the pictures from my Italian wedding on my Facebook? Where the fuck did they go? I swear to God. They were just here. That is crazy. Must be a weird technical difficulty. We have a technical difficulty. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde. When your reality has not reflected your desire, can you look at your reality and go, this is some weird Mercury retrograde shit. I don't know what's going on here, but this is not true. This is not fucking true. And can you tap into the vibration of your desire? And can you know that what you want is yours? And it's more than just saying it. It's your energy. And again, that's where it gets nuanced. We'll talk more about that in the next slide. Now, the act of actually collapsing time can be perceived as more difficult because it kind of takes a little bit more work. And when I say that it takes a little bit more work, what I mean is the amount of work that it will take will kind of depend on where you are in your manifesting journey, in your journey at all. Like, everybody can do whatever they want to do. And I'm never going to be the person who tells you don't do what you want to do, because I don't think that is helpful. Follow your fucking dreams, period, point blank. If God put it on your heart, you can collapse time and you've never done any other thing deliberately before, but you know that you can do this, then fucking do it, period. But the reason why I wouldn't recommend focusing on collapsing time if you hadn't done other energetic, mental, and emotional shifting work before is because what can manifest instead is a feeling of pressure. Because when you start telling a new story, you trigger resistance. When you start telling a new story, you trigger resistance. Resistance is just the feeling of the old story that you've been telling up until now. So if you've been telling the story up until now, money doesn't grow on trees. I can't afford Beyonce tickets. I can't afford to do this. I can't afford to have this. I'm not supported enough to have this. I'm not supported enough to do this. When you start telling the story, money is everywhere. I am incredibly fucking abundant. Money loves to come to me. I make more than enough money. Beyonce tickets, baby. I bought my ticket for right there in the middle of the motherfucking stage, honey. That's how much money I have. I'm behind the microphone at the Beyonce concert, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you start telling that story, your brain is going to be like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? 5 seconds ago, you just said that we were broke. We are broke. We don't have no fucking money. That's resistance. You've got to know how to move through your resistance. And there are some people in the law of assumption community, maybe even law of attraction community, that go, don't focus on your resistance, ignore your resistance, push away your resistance. But the reason why I don't recommend that until you have worked through your shit is because these subconscious stories will show up in different ways. And ignoring your emotional needs, neglecting yourself emotionally, ignoring your fear and ignoring your pain and ignoring all of this stuff, you're not going to actually shift permanently because that energy doesn't go anywhere. The difference between you being depressed and you being happy is not you getting the next job. The difference between you being lonely and you being fulfilled and feeling loved and whole and complete is not you being single versus you being in a loving relationship. So because we're not just talking about manifesting our desires, we're talking about manifesting an emotionally fulfilled life. If you're choosing to shift into the reality where you're respected and you're loved in your field, and a part of you feels like a complete imposter, and you refuse to deal with the fact that you feel like a complete imposter, you're not soothing yourself, you're not shifting that energy, then you're either going to sabotage so that you don't ever get the job, or you'll get the job and you'll lose it. So that's why we want to work with the resistance. We want to move through our resistance. We want to learn how to shift our energy. We want to learn how to soothe ourselves emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even physically. We want to learn how to regulate our nervous system. So that way we feel safe and secure and clear. And when I know that it's mine and I know that it's safe for it to be mine, and when I'm confident that it's mine, well, then it's easy to collapse time. And it rhymes, so it's true. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm trying to collapse time and I feel a little bit like, I don't know, might happen, might not happen, will it happen? Is it showing up? Is this manifestation thing real? What if it doesn't happen? If it doesn't happen, I won't be able to pay my rent. I'm freaking out. My nervous system is unregulated, but I know that it's mine. I know that it's mine. I know that it's mine, but I'm also freaking out and I'm terrified and blah, 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 blah. It just creates this unnecessary conflict. And there does feel like that mental back and forth at those times. But when you know how to shift energy, it's easier. It's a smoother experience. It's a smoother transition when you know how to integrate inner children, when you know how to soothe yourself emotionally, when you know how to identify what limiting story is coming up, you know how to debunk that shit. You know how to tell yourself a new story instead, when you know how to tap into a new energy and a new vibe, and you know how to move through your resistance. That makes the transition much easier and smoother. That's why you learn those skills. So the whole collapsing time thing is easy. Know that it's yours, know that you get to have it now and persist no matter what. But all of the resistance that comes up when you're doing that persisting, knowing how to move through that resistance, in my opinion, is going to make or break your manifestation process and your collapsing time process. And you're going to be able to easily and quickly receive based on how you're able to persist and really command your thoughts. And I talk about commanding your reality. I think that being able to command your reality is being able to command your thoughts. When the thought comes up, well, maybe I can't have it. Maybe I can't do it. That resistance is typically happening on a subconscious level. So you should be able to identify what stories are being triggered from moment to moment on that subconscious level. That's why you do meditations, to become more intimate with your feelings. I know when resistance is being triggered, sometimes it'll be a thought, but sometimes it'll be a feeling of worry, stress, anxiety. I'm like, whoa, something is off here because I feel off. And then I explore that feeling and that emotion, and through that, I identify that story, and then I shift that story. And I literally give you all of that in my free bundle, which we'll talk about in a second, but let's move on. Last thing, things that make collapsing time easier. Number one, having a strong sense of self-worth. My definition of self-worth is knowing that I'm important, I'm significant, I matter, and I belong. And worthiness is when it's good and okay for me to receive. When you believe that you're significant, you're important, you matter, you belong, and that it's good and okay for you to receive every single thing your heart could ever desire, collapsing time is easy. Of course I get to have the card that I want right here and right now. I'm significant, I'm important, I matter, I belong, and it's good and okay for me to receive. Of course I get to have it. But a lot of people feel They have low self-worth. They feel insignificant. They feel unimportant. They feel like they don't matter. They feel like they don't belong. Why? Because they were emotionally neglected in their childhood experience. They didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get what they needed. They didn't get what they desired. Those experiences created those beliefs like we talked about in that first portion on that first slide. You're understanding what I'm saying now? Next thing you want to have to make it easier, strong sense of self-esteem. Self-esteem is what you believe that you can do, have, or create. It's believing in your ability to create. I want this result. I believe that I am impacting my reality. I believe that I can create this. A lot of people feel powerless. A lot of people who get tarot readings feel powerless. Not saying everybody, not saying it's a prerequisite, not saying you have to. But when you're asking the question, will I ever find love? You feel powerless. Because why are you asking God if God will grant you love? People with high self-esteem, like, I want love and love is mine. And I'm going to get this love if it's the last thing that I do. That might not be everybody with high self-esteem's approach, or thoughts, but that's the energy and that's the vibe. Will I get a raise? Will I get more clients? Versus, I'm getting this raise. This raise is mine. I'm attracting clients in my business. The clients are mine. I know that with my thoughts, energy, attention, focus, and the actions that I'm inspired to take as a consequence of all of those things, that I have the power to impact my reality in the way that I want. That is self-esteem. When you believe that it's good and okay for you to receive, when you believe that you're important, you're significant, you matter, you belong, and you believe that you have the ability to impact this world in the way that you want it to be impacted, you've got strong self-esteem, you've got strong self-worth. Bop, boom, bam. Super easy to collapse time. These things, strong self-worth and strong self-esteem, are things that you kind of create over time. This doesn't mean that it has to take so long before you can get the things that you want. It's just while you're focusing on this and while you're creating this and while you're building these things up, once you're super strong in them, then collapsing time gets that much easier. So if you're just collapsing time and you've got those feelings of unworthiness, then that unworthiness is going to get triggered. That resistance is going to get triggered. So in your collapsing time process, your persisting process, you're going to be doing the energy work to shift those feelings of insecurity or unworthiness. Versus if you've already got strong self-worth, you know you deserve it. You know it's good for you to receive it. And you believe in your ability to receive it. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's yours. So a really great example of this could be like something small versus something big, because our self-esteem and our self-worth, these things are like subjective or circumstantial, right? They can differ from situation to situation or aspect to aspect. Ooh, God, I just thought of an example that kind of hurts my feelings to share, but like, okay. With finding partners or men who are physically attracted to me and who want to sleep with me, be intimate with me. Because I already had that experience and I have a lot of experience having that experience, I know that I can create that. I know that I can have that. I have a strong sense of self-esteem in my ability to attract physical, intimate partners. I'm trying to keep it PG for, YouTube. And I kind of understand that I'm inherently worthy of that experience, that it's okay for me to receive it, that I can receive it. I don't feel unworthy of that because I've already experienced it. It's normal. There's no question about it. So if I downloaded Tinder today, I'd have 1,000 matches by this afternoon. Like, you know what I mean? But when it comes to having a partner who meets my emotional needs and prioritizes me, well, I was not prioritized in my childhood experience. As a consequence of that, I'm working through feelings of feeling insignificant, unimportant, like I don't matter, like I don't belong. When it comes to having an emotionally mature and emotionally safe and secure, fulfilling relationship with another human being where they're loving me and taking care of me, my self-worth is a little wobbly. My self-esteem is actually pretty good around the subject. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that if you would have asked me this 6 months ago or a year ago, then my self-worth and my self-esteem would have been way plummeted down. Over time, my self-worth and my self-esteem, when it comes to relationships and getting my emotional needs met by my partners, has skyrocketed because I've done the work. So in terms of collapsing time to the timeline where I'm married, that's not something that happened in an instant for me. I'm not saying that it couldn't. I'm not limiting myself, but I'm talking about what my experience was and what that process looked like for me. And all of the things that I had to work through, the inner children that I integrated, the self-concept work that I did, being willing to see myself differently, being willing to believe that the man that I want exists, the man that I want is out there, and all of this other stuff. So there's different resistance that came up for me along this entire path and journey. It wasn't just going from being single to being married. It was going from having low self-esteem and low self-worth, feeling unworthy of love, expecting people to treat me poorly, expecting myself to be neglected. And before that, it was being okay with being neglected, feeling like being neglected was acceptable, to expecting people to love and take care of me, expecting myself to be supported, expecting myself to be taken care of. And as I've been on this journey with romance, I've also been on a journey with my business and money and all this stuff. So my timeline and how long it has taken me to create these things and attract these things and become confident in my ability to create and attract these things, it's unique to me. The point is that you don't have to have a specific timeline. The point is that you don't have to focus on these things at all. But when you do focus on these things, it makes your manifestation that much easier to come into your life. Because when I know that I'm inherently worthy of a man who loves me and supports me and makes me feel safe and secure, well, then it's kind of obvious that I get to have this experience. But when I know that I want the experience where I'm married and I'm supported and I'm loved and I'm taken care of, and I feel like I can't actually have that, I feel like that's not realistic for me. I feel like that's not possible for me. I feel like I'm not beautiful. I'm just going to say the last thing that I said that I think didn't get recorded. Wanting something and being willing to allow yourself to receive that thing are not the same thing. You can want the new car, but if you're afraid that people will be jealous of you when you get the new car, and because of that jealousy, they will stop talking to you, they'll undermine you, they'll sabotage you, they'll talk about you behind your back, they'll hate you, you'll be an outcast. If you think that you'll be an outcast and a loner, you won't get love and connection, which is a basic human need, because you got this new car. Then that part of you is not going to be willing to receive the new car. That's resistance. And that resistance doesn't go away just because you say, no, I'm going to have this new car anyway. You might be able to get the new car anyway, but then you will self-sabotage because that resistance will still exist. You understand what I'm saying? So you can want the things, but the work that you're doing, your internal work, mindset work, is working on supporting yourself and being willing to receive these things. You're only going to be willing to receive what you know is safe for you to receive, what you know is good for you to receive, what you know gets to be yours, what you know that you get to create. So when you want to manifest quickly and easily, knowing that it gets to be yours, knowing that it's good for it to be yours, knowing that it's safe for you to create it, that's going to help you make it easier. Got it? All right. And then, of course, your ability to shift negative thoughts is going to make this much easier. Knowing how to stop negative thought patterns in their tracks, knowing how to shift energy. It's literally everything that we just talked about. Okay? All right. So that is all that we have for today's video. Now, one thing that I talked to you about earlier in the video that I think would powerfully help you, especially if you're at the beginning of your journey, but also no matter where you are, this is a super helpful tool. It's the 6 Steps from Stuck to Self-Aware bundle. It's a digital journal that is going to teach you my signature 6-step belief identifying process. You will use this to identify the limiting beliefs that are coming up for you when those emotions are being triggered. You're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the story is. I don't know what the resistance is. This will help you in those situations. You're also going to get a meditation to help you get emotionally clear. It's a meditation for feeling your feelings that actually is a part of my main signature program that's not open for enrollment right now, but it's a really good meditation that's going to help you become more intimate with your feelings and your emotions and your willingness to feel your feelings and emotions. It's going to help you feel safe to feel those to feel those emotions that you probably have been wanting to push away and wishing were just not exist. When you're wanting to do this work and you're wanting to work through that resistance, one of the first steps that you want to do is be willing to feel the resistance and be willing to look at it. And then there's also a prayer that's going to help you shift your energy. It's super great. You can get yours for free using the link in my bio. Also, if you want other free content from me, you can stream my podcast. It is the Naked and Noisy podcast. It is made for the self-led woman who's habitually being told by the outside world to quiet down and be less of herself. The Naked and Noisy podcast was created to empower and inspire her to be who she is, no matter who might disagree, how much the next person might pray that she'd shut the fuck up, or what expectations the world might be projecting onto her. There are new episodes of this podcast that come out every single Monday and Thursday. It's really, really good. And when it comes down to offers that I would really recommend for you, I have a course on self-love. It's called the How to Receive Self-Love Miniature course. This course is what will help you with your self-worth. Everything that we talked about in that, not the last 2 slides, but the one before that, what's going to help your process, knowing that it's safe for you to receive, knowing that it's good for you to receive, knowing that you're important, that you're significant, you matter, and you belong. It's also going to help you to shift your limiting beliefs, integrate those inner children. All of that is inside of this course, okay? So I would recommend that. And then I would recommend the I Can and I Should self-esteem boosting miniature course. And this is going to help you with your self-esteem, like we also talked about in that slide. This is the course that's going to help you to identify your low self-esteem, and it's going to help you to develop tools that you need to shift your self-esteem so that you believe that you can impact your reality, so that you believe that you can do these things, so that you believe that you can collapse time. You could apply the concept shared in this course to the act of actually collapsing time. If you've never done it before, you feel weary about your ability to do it, boom, the tools inside of this course will powerfully help you with that. And you'll learn how to connect with the self-assured version of yourself. We talk more about rewiring your brain inside of this course in particular. So if you enjoyed the conversation that we had about subconscious beliefs and stuff like that, and you want more information on that, then this course is something that you could absolutely check out for more information. I think that that's all that I have. Links to the miniature courses, the free content, and the podcast well, I guess it's a part of the free content, are all in the description box. Thank you so much for listening. Please comment down below. Tell me what your takeaways were. Tell me what you enjoyed from this. I love you so, so much, and I'll talk to you in the next one.